everyone. Welcome back. I'm sure that made it through, unfortunately. But okay. The four of you find yourselves in this incredibly massive cavern. The Guardian Vought and his sort of enclave stand behind you. You are face to face with what you can only assume is Orindar himself. You see this massive six-armed creature made of stone and crystal, the very air around him shimmering with pure arcanum. You can see in this cavern that there's a lot of crystalline structures throughout, and I think even to your untrained eye, you can make out that these seem to be like big, complex structures of verglass, the mineral that everyone on the surface are warring over and trying to harness as much as possible of. Here you're seeing it in its purest form.
Quick, loot him.
You've already had a little bit of back and forth with Orindar, but he continues in front of you, motionless, sort of fused with the mountain itself, though you get the sense that movement is not beyond his capability.
The last thing he said was, "I miss the sky," right?
Yes, to that effect. The cavernous ceiling above you is marked with, as Rhowan noted, the exact expectation of where each and every star would be at this moment, somehow constructed by memory by this elemental being.
Would that be because of the part of you that was once flying in the sky?
I was many things. I existed purely here for millennia. Everything you have ever seen, touched, held, is a consequence of the era of creation, where I and my counterparts formed this plane.
How do we go about helping you then?
I have bestowed the gift of Orindar, as they call it now, to this world. It is earth and arcanum fused. It would be the catalyst.
We saw a picture that our friends, and she'll point to the mechanoids and be like, it showed that you worked with dragons once upon a time. Is that true?
My companions and I created the dragons. Flesh and element born into one.
Do they listen to you still?
I have been separated from them for a long time.
Do you think that maybe if we tried to talk to them, they would help us if we said that we knew you? Or we have these 3 babies, and she'll point to like the eggs that they've been carrying around. Do you think that they would listen to you or help us?
Those creatures you carry, they are far removed from the dragons we created.
Oh. Okay. Because we did meet one that was kind of mean to us, and so I just want to be sure that like we don't hurt any of your friends if we need their help later on. And then Brielle's just going to kind of like slink back and like tuck herself in because she's like, oh my God, why am I talking to this man? He's probably going to hate me if he finds out who I am. Ugh.
In response, you get sort of a... You get the rumble of, as though like the mountain itself is sighing with him as he thinks on the long years and the changes to the world. It sort of shakes you all to your core for a moment as the mountain itself sort of rumbles out his despair. In the era of creation before war came between the gods and the elements, Arindar created the elves. Eternal, creative, intelligent, beautiful creatures. And in that time, they were as close to the gods as one might get. And now look at the elves. So different, so diverse. Mortal, though not as mortal as others. There are good and bad. There are those of the surface, and so those of the Underdark. Those from the far-off realms. The dragons have changed in the same way. Once perfect, immortal, elemental beings, now different, unique, good and bad, complex.
I think when Brielle like shows some level of feeling like self-conscious and like shrinking back, she's kind of met with Wren like not really allowing her to go too far back. She just like kind of gently places a hand on like your forearm, sort of like a squeeze of comfort. And she turns her attention to Orindar again, and she kind of like tilts her head down a little bit as if like revering him, and she goes, this is all a little bit beyond me. I, unlike some of my friends, and I'm not used to dealing with divine beings. So, forgive me if I am out of line, but there are some divine beings that are harmful, yes, given the depiction of the serpent. What is your intent with this world once you are free?
Intent. I do not understand that term as you do. I aim to be free because that is what I ought to be.
The serpent seeks to devour the world. Do you seek to impose your will on it in any way?
The purpose of this plane was unbridled creation. We sought to create land, sea, air, fire, earth, magic woven throughout, life, endless life. And then the gods came, and with them, the Forsaken One, death. He came and changed our creation, shaped it in his own twisted will.
Do you know any allies of this being that we should be wary of?
I know all the Forsaken, though they have many names.
Is it just the Forsaken that would not want you freed?
Truthfully, I do not know. It was not the Forsaken that imprisoned us, but the Prime to end the war. They banished us and the Forsaken all at once. The Forsaken found themselves in the negative planes, places of power for those who know how to wield it. We are tied to the plane, and so, in a last-ditch effort to maintain our grasp here, we converged ourselves to become one strong enough to remain, though imprisoned.
I'm sorry that that happened to you.
This was not your doing.
And she like wants to say something, but she keeps like pulling back within her. She'll like say like a syllable and then stop and like just keep trying to like, she'll take a deep breath and just be like, I don't know if this will help us or hinder us, but you need to know that he's sorry as well. And that trapping you was his biggest regret. And if I can do anything to make that better for you, I know I'm not a god. I will try my best. You have my word.
If what you say is true, then perhaps the tellings are correct, and it is time for us to be freed.
How many of you are there that need to be freed?
3 of us survive.
And do you know where the others could be?
Where is a very different concept for us than it is for you.
Okay.
Even this form you see here is not truly my being, but a sort of projection onto this plane. A forced, willful, the word escaped my head partway through that sentence. Too tired. Anyway, he's basically trying to tell you this is more or less like an avatar and not his true form.
Got it. Well, if they need help, and she'll just like look at the party. She doesn't want to speak on their behalf, but she'll always be like, You can count on me, at the very least.
My friend Brielle here always commits to helping me with all of my adventures. I may as well commit to helping her with hers.
Did you just say I'm your friend?
She kind of, she does, it seems like she's turned towards you, but like you can see like the glisten of her like white pupilless eyes kind of turn a little bit, like she looked away from you.
My friends are the strongest people I know. And if they're going to get us through anything, this is the people that you need to talk to. I put all my faith in them.
It seems that the Orvoss have chosen well.
I hope so.
How is it that we would know that we are coming across another of your kind, for lack of a better word? You seemed to be reaching out to those around you. Would the same happen with the others?
I fear that you may find approaching the others more difficult. Being imprisoned for more than 8,000 solar circumventions, you may find that their anger has grown out of control. But if they can be freed, I believe that they can be quelled.
So what exactly is our first step here then? She looks at the others and then to Orindar and any myconids that are still around.
That's a good question. It's a good question. And we need to make sure that this serpent thing doesn't get out. That kind of seems like any of this would be a moot point if the world's been eaten.
Brielle told us like pretty much all about her dream, right?
Oh, the whole thing. The whole
Okay.
thing. Every last bit.
Isn't that what some of the other gods are focused on? And we were told we're not quite powerful for a task like that.
Yeah, they seem to be focusing on defending and putting all their energy into keeping him quelled.
We were told we need to make allies with the other prisoners.
So Tharvo seeks an alliance, does he?
Yes. Again, he's really sorry.
He sees the error of his ways. That is good.
It seems since a lot has changed, as you said, with the dragons. It seems a lot has changed as well with the gods. He's a lot more active, according to my friend Rhowan here.
Did he tell you who seeks to wake the serpent?
I don't think he gave a name, did he?
He did not.
No.
Then I wonder what would make him so afraid as to ask for the assistance of his prisoners. I know Zarathis to be quite powerful, but a match for Tharvos alone, no. Even with the gates of the hells opened, I doubt he would stand much chance against Tharvos and his kin.
There seems to be something concerning Tharvos. Like we're on the verge of something huge again.
If the serpent is who I believe it to be, then the verge that we are on the edge of is nothingness. All would be devoured. There would be no stopping him.
But we could maybe stop those that are willing to help him free him.
Yes. And to protect this plane, I would be willing to enter into such an alliance. But we do not know what we face yet. Nor do you have the power to free me yet.
So finding out what we're up against, is that our first task then? That and getting strong enough, I guess, to be a useful ally to you.
It sounds like you have a direction.
Seems we have some information to dig up.
Then I shall allow you passage as champions. Do you have any further questions?
Could you keep this alliance just between us? Only because some bad people might hunt me down if they find out that we're helping you. And I don't want to be selfish, but I think this one time I'm allowed.
I assure you that no bad people are granted an audience here.
Speaking of audience, we actually came on behalf of some friends of ours. I'm sure you're familiar with them already. They wish to come worship you. Is that something that you will allow?
Yes, the Wandering Stones have been seeking me for some time. They and all of the Earthborn kin are just as much my people as the Orvoss. Their ways are different, but if they can be helped to communicate terms with one another, I believe that they can coexist peacefully in my presence.
We appreciate that. We have gone through, well, a number of deals and transactions to get to this point, and they have been only kind to us. Do you mind if I ask? I notice that you are entwined with all of this, and she like points to all of the verglass that she can see. There are many people who are after this material. Is it hurting you to take it?
No, this is my gift. But it should be respected, honored, used in the right capacity. This is earth and magic in one. If it were abused, I would grow very angry.
I think that is understandable, and that is all from me. And she looks at the others to see if they have anything else they want to say to this being.
No, Brielle was trying to slink back, but you kind of held her there, so.
I'm writing notes furiously. But there, I don't think Rhowan has anything to ask right now.
Neither does Sylra.
I grant you passage, and you notice that the tunnel that you came in through is no longer there. As he gestures with one arm towards it, you can see it open up once more.
Thank you.
And just kind of does like another like half bow and turns to leave.
Yeah, you see that the Myconid behind you are all still on their knees, and they wait until you actually move past them to stand up and follow you out. You managed to head back out the way you came into the Myconid controlled tunnels, where once again you find yourself in the deep, thick, humid air with spores all around you.
That wasn't on my list this week.
Or ever.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah.
At least he didn't like yell at me when he found out who I was, so that's good.
That is good. I like that. It's,
I'm scared if, like, he's pretty intimidating, and he seemed nice, but the other ones aren't going to be so nice.
I don't know. I don't know if nice is nice or mean or anything like that's the right sort of term to apply to these entities. Nature just kind of is, and they seem to be nature.
If
But he
anyone
did seem
knows
nice.
you.
Ren sort of like plucks a loose leaf from Rowan's hair and is like, well, you're pretty nice.
You know, that's part of my head, man.
Looks like it's braided in.
It is. Some of y'all don't have hair that's also vines. I get it.
Some, most of us don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really like being underground all that much. Out like open space is more my thing. Do we want to start getting topside or?
I think we should go talk to the Genasi first.
Oh, they're on
Let
the
them
way
know.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can go. Talking as someone who likes being underground.
Hey, nothing
Do you want to
against.
stay longer, Sylra?
No, we've had quite an adventure, so
And risk another family reunion so quickly.
yeah, no, thank you.
How many cousins do you have, Sylra?
A lot.
Like
Unfortunate.
5, 10? Like, should we expect an army?
I don't know the exact number. It'll take me a while to figure that out.
More than enough to worry about, sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my siblings are probably more of the ones to be concerned about, but
And you got like 5 or 10 of those?
just 2.
2? Okay. We can do 2.
Anywho, so shall we?
Let's.
Yeah, you guys make your way back up the spiral. I guess not really a staircase, but the tunnel that spirals upward back up to where the myconids are living by the water. When you arrive there, you can feel that there's sort of a lively discussion that's kind of happening, not so guarded as some of their other communications have been up until now amongst themselves. And there is discussion of the others arriving and the need to negotiate passage and terms, and the need to be on guard in case they have any tricks.
Sylra's just going to be like, 8. I have 8 cousins. Well, I guess now 7.
That did take a while.
Are the myconids still like speaking into our heads? Like, are we all still like kind of connected?
Yeah, you can feel like it's sort of like it's almost like talking out loud at this point, because they're actually having an open discussion that isn't direct from one myconid to another.
Ren's just trying to think of something, if like she can offer them any advice on dealing with the Genasi's arrival. And she's just like, she'll go a little bit closer to one of the groups, though she realizes she doesn't really need to, since I could probably hear her from where she is. And she goes, they are all very kind but reserved. Much like you, I don't think you'll have much of a problem getting on with them.
As you're saying that, Guardian Vought kind of moves in to take you sort of like one hand just gently under your shoulder kind of thing. He turns you away from the others and leads you towards where you had entered from. And he says, I do believe this, but we must be careful. We've guarded these caverns for centuries. And you sense a hesitation before he gives you the word centuries. Bring them to our wall, and I will negotiate.
Very kind of you to even consider this, so we do appreciate it.
They had made many attempts before, but because we could not communicate clearly with them, we chose to keep them away. But if Orindar desires to see them venerating him, then we must do what we should.
This might be a long shot, but we've kind of made a habit of doing things on the behalf of others, so might as well ask, is there anything that we could be doing for your people?
The creature that was beyond us you have dealt with. There is nothing else in this mountain we fear.
Well, that puts me at ease for our walk back then. All right, well, suppose we should head off.
Very good. He takes you to the edge of the wall, and there you see the mushroom caps unfurl, offering you a stairway down the 60 feet back to the tunnels that brought you here.
Before we go, Brielle is going to wave goodbye because, of course, but she's mostly focused on waving goodbye to all the children that she gave the pebbles to.
You don't actually see them around at the moment.
Oh, okay then. I'm just waving goodbye to whoever wants to say goodbye.
You're up to something.
Head down.
Yeah.
All right. You guys head down the fungal staircase and into the tunnels below. You make your way back through the extended tunnels that led you here. And as you're walking out, though it's hard to tell how much time you've been walking for, how long since you left the Earth Genasi, all of you are starting to feel pretty weary. You're starting to feel the effects of not getting rest that you need. But you know that it's not too much further. And so I assume you carry on.
Yeah, it's not too much further.
Yeah.
Yeah, you press on until you find yourself at the earthen wall that the Genasi had formed. They see you approaching, and at first you can see that the two on the wall raise up their spears. You can see the slightest bit of glow appear in the center of their spearheads. But as they notice who you are approaching, they relax a little bit, and you can see that the glow dies down.
Put the rocks I was going to clack together away.
You absolutely could still do it.
Okay, I clacked them.
You hear from the wall, yes, very good, but we've already seen you.
Just doing what I was told.
Do it before we almost killed you.
But you didn't.
She's got you there.
That is true. Few outsiders are known as well as you. As you continue to approach the wall, you find that, like before, it just sort of moves across the earth as though a fluid structure, never seeming to ever come off of the actual surface of the ground you're walking on, but just moving like a wave on the surface of water. And as it opens up, you're able to pass into the great cavern that they live in once more. It is well lit in many places with many lanterns and torches outside of homes, many fire pits. Though there's quite a bit of smoke coming up from all these flames, it seems to go up endlessly into this shadowy, ceilinged cavern that goes on for untold depths. You do hear a little bit of a commotion in the distance.
Go check it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know vaguely where it's coming from?
Sounds like it's coming from the center of their town again. That central furnace in the middle. You make your way towards it, and sure enough, you do see that there is a crowd formed here once again. There actually seem to be further out than they were before, as the barricades now between the inner and the outer audience area are further out. And you can see, rather than being sort of centralized exactly around the furnace and the workstations, it's actually a little bit off from there. And more so, you see an area that's been flattened and prepared for the testing of the weapons. And as all the weapons are sort of up on these pedestals, you can see that one person is in the middle right now, wielding a glaive and cutting through pure stone with it. Every time he does so, there's a cheer from the crowd.
Brielle's like not gonna wait for Wren to pull her through this time. She's actually gonna like try and make her own way and like try and get a better look.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
I just want to get it. Okay.
I think Wren will follow behind, just like, and any gaps that Brielle's creating, Wren kind of goes right behind her.
Yeah, I'd say Wren would be certainly adept enough to follow in Brielle's wake without.
I'll go small if I have to at certain points, just to make it
With
easier.
my shield on my back. Figure people out.
But Brielle, you don't have too much issue pushing your way through the crowd to the front. Wren following in tow. What are the other two doing, out of curiosity?
Like how big is this crowd?
It's like easily 12 people deep kind of thing.
Okay. Then I will try not to get that separated.
Yeah, Sylra's gonna follow suit.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Brielle cuts a pretty big path. Wren preventing it from filling in right away. The two of you are able to follow along behind pretty well as well. And as you push out to the front, yeah, you can see that there is a very tall Earth Genasi. This one with he's the type that seems to have the crystalline formations in his flesh, with some like stones just kind of hovering around his head. You can see as he makes a big swing with two hands with his glaive that right below his elbow there's a gap of light between his arm. And as he's swinging, you can see that not only is he cutting through this stone, but he is swinging at, and it literally just looks like a pillar of stone, like a mesa was just wrought out of the ground. He's slicing off like nearly paper thin slashes of stone from this in this like very artful martial arts display. Though the real thing on display here is the quality of the blade. The glaive you can see is very finely crafted. It's got that same silvery sheen to it as the mithril that you saw. And being wielded so expertly, he's having no problem cutting these sheets of stone off and leaving them in a big pile. And then finally, as he whittles it down side to side to side, front and back, he finally gets it to this like pointed shape, and he just drives the point through it, and the whole thing crumbles outward. And there's this eruption from the crowd.
Okay, yeah.
Very good. The mithril wind glaive has shown its promise. Who shall we see next? And you can see that another one of the Forge Masters steps forward, carrying a greatsword in both hands, and she brings it up to the champion who is wielding the glaive, bows her head, and offers it to him. And then, much like before, he begins a display of swinging it at a stone that is now brought up out of the ground.
Is there somebody there performing some action to bring these stones up out of the ground?
So if you're looking for it and pass a perception of 21, they're not hiding. So
it's gonna be 22 next level.
Oh my god. So you look over to the left and you see that within the inner boundaries is Sandrock and 4 others dressed similarly in like almost like different cultures in a way, but like similarly in that they all look to be appointed equally. It's almost like when you see like 5 different this is going to be a deep cut, but like 5 different like war chiefs from like feudal Japan, all of them dressed very differently, and yet somehow you can tell. But as this is happening, you can see that the man standing next to Sandrock kind of bends over, puts his hand above the ground, and then draws it upward, and you can see that the stones all get pushed away by a new one coming up, and then as the one on the far right then just goes like this, making like a calming gesture, and all those broken stones just seem to reabsorb into the floor.
I'm just gonna watch them for a while and then kind of say, kind of quietly to no one in particular, I bet I could do that.
Is Rhowan familiar with like Mold Earth?
Yes, he is.
Then you would recognize it as being very similar to that. However, it doesn't seem to obey the same size limitations.
He is even more familiar with stone shape, though. So
fair enough.
At least he is now, because he took that spell at last level.
Nice. Then yeah, you could do that. But as you're noticing them doing that, there is another cheer from the crowd as the first stone comes out. You see him hold the greatsword in one hand, bring it up, take the pummel with his other hand, and he swings it down in one solid motion, and that stone just splits right down the middle. There's no splintering of stone. It is 2 whole pieces cut down to the ground. Once again, the crowd kind of erupts, and this process continues on for like the next 20 minutes, him taking each of the 5 weapons one at a time and showing their capabilities against pure stone. It's then moved to a different display. A different champion comes out, this one looking more like they might be from Sandrock's clan, and he then takes each of the 5 weapons in turn and cuts through a metallic shield just made of steel with each of them. With these ones, you're not seeing it sort of slice right through like it's butter, but very easily, and you can see the metal rending sparks shooting off as it cuts right through each of the 5 shields.
Wren leans over to Rhowan. I bet Brielle can do that.
I bet she can.
But this continues on for like half an hour for each display. There's 5 different displays of strength, and after which there is a break for deliberation, which literally means it's time for them to party again.
But of course.
And so the place erupts into the usual Earth Genasi party that you've become so accustomed to.
I really wish they'd stop doing that, because I have so many questions I want to ask and I can't ask them.
Well, should we find Sandrock then? Tell him the good news?
I think so, and then I'd like to find somewhere to become horizontal for a while.
Yes.
Don't you sit up when you sleep?
Sometimes.
Not with the way that you guys have been cuddling when he turns into a dog.
Brielle just like shut, like beat red. Her hair starts glowing. She's like, oh god, I'm not drinking tonight.
I might.
I'm sleeping by Wren.
Where it's safe.
Wren is safe.
I'm letting Rhowan spot Sandrock.
Oh, he's over
I
there.
look over the crowd and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
he's just, oh,
She's like still small size. She's like, up here.
Yeah, he's able to point out Sandrock to you with him.
yeah. It's over there.
Hmm. Well, they seem to like to break their rule for this sort of negotiation, so we could at least talk about that. We'll start making our way over.
Yeah, absolutely. You make your way to Sandrock, and you find him not amongst his own people this time, but instead he is in sort of a closed off is a strong word, but sort of a set aside area where he and the other four tribal lords are sitting together. Though as you approach the edge of this area, he raises his hand to the others and he just looks at you and says, "Come."
Yeah. Oh. Goes the distance.
These are them. And they all kind of look at him and look at you, and they each offer like the slightest nod of their head. The one on the far right, though, the one who seems to have like almost veins of magma running through his darkened flesh, he very quickly speaks up and says, "You will bring us to Orindar."
Okay.
It seems we will be, yes.
How do you accomplish such a thing?
Yes, nicely.
Yeah.
How do you speak with the glowing people? And you can see that Sandrock like sighs, and he's like, "I have explained this already."
For
Wren
my
will-
previous email.
Ren will like establish a connection with Sandrock and the one that questioned them,
Mhm.
and the others as well. And she just goes, "They seem to prefer this kind of communication," and she says that without moving her mouth at all.
So it is true. I did not believe him.
Yes, a couple of our party members are able to speak telepathically. She's saying this out loud now.
I bet you feel vindicated, Shayla. And he looks over to the far left, and the one on the far left is she seems to be of the clan that has the crystalline things floating and whatnot. You can actually see that it looks like there's a gap between her, like in her neck, like between her head and her body. And she sort of just gives him a wry smile and nods and says, "Yes, my people are always correct." Good, good. We all understand each other.
We were successful in our negotiation, and they would like to they would like for us to accompany you to their wall.
And they serve Orindar, is that true?
They seem to be quite protective of him. So naturally, they were wary of you. We were able to speak with Orindar, though, and he would like to see you all.
When you say spoke,
Like this.
Except
you were
he's
in
bigger.
his presence.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like it, I think. It wasn't... We call it an avatar? Something like that?
Yeah, an avatar.
Well, I doubt you all people saw this coming, the day I am envious of an outsider.
Well, not for long. It seems you will soon be in his presence as well.
This is good. However, the great work must be completed.
What's that?
Yeah, there's no rush. We need to go to bed.
We have one more day challenge, one more deliberation, and then the closing of the ceremony.
And once you see Orindar, you are planning on helping us afterward.
Yes, we will help you. I would like to see what it is you need me to make.
Sylra, I don't suppose your little trick that you did before with the copying of things works when you don't have something else physically present to do so with.
I'm not sure, but I can see if he will give me any information so I can tell.
Worth a shot?
She is going to try and contact her patron.
You're gonna do it here in front of everyone?
She's gonna walk away a little bit if there's any space by herself.
Yeah, I mean, like you can find a relatively secluded place between a couple of the homes or whatnot that are a little ways off.
To mind her, she does just walk away like that sometimes.
All right. Well, let's have an Arcana check and see if you can make an open connection from your end.
If I need to throw a cosmic omen on that, I can.
What's
do
that?
have-
You give her advantage?
I give her a D4 to add to it.
It's not gonna do it.
All right.
Can I use my inspiration to roll again?
You can use your inspiration, sure. 100 warlock.
Do better?
That is better. Yeah, you head out to seek solitude, and there you. What's it look like for Sylra to try to reach her patron? Not something she does often.
Oh, it's not. It would probably look a little bit like praying, like if she was religious, but in a way of like pacing back and forth and trying to, I don't know, she's reaching out with her mind. Like she's not used to doing it, so it's looks awkward.
Yes,
because
she's
it
in
is
an awkward
awkward.
position, trying to like probe out into the depths of space with her mind, trying to reach that spot that she felt her patron before. It comes with great difficulty, but you suddenly feel as though your consciousness briefly brushes up against his, and you feel the divergent eye focus on you for a moment.
I need your help, if possible.
Of course you do. You were nothing before me.
Yes, I know that, but
And yet you treat my messenger with disrespect. And then come asking for favors.
yes, but there's a potential for you to gain more knowledge also that you may want.
What knowledge do you offer?
Well, I know some people who are able to use birdlass and other sort of components together, and they might be able to offer you something that you might want to know.
That is interesting. That is also what we have been after already.
Basically, I just need your help in retelling the information that I got for you to them.
The Dwarven manuscript.
Yes. It doesn't have to be complete, just part so they could understand. Then I'd probably be able to get knowledge or information that you would like.
My loyal have uncovered the location of something I desire. Something you desire as well. Ancient magic. Far beyond the modern era. No longer accomplishable by normal means, but with the gift of your elemental lord, perhaps greater power could be in both of our hands.
Exactly.
I will guide you there when the time is right.
I will trust you.
You feel almost like tendrils of psychic energy sort of wrap around your brain, much in the way that they did the first time you copied that manuscript by accident. Would you like to make a saving throw against it, or would you like for him to be allowed to do what he's doing?
She will allow him.
All right, then suddenly Sylra's will is lost to her, and she sort of rigidly straightens out, her arm extending before her. She weaves a sigil in the air, a spell she doesn't fully comprehend, but has witnessed twice now. And as she does so, the manuscript appears in full before her, to do with as she pleases.
She will outwardly nod to him, even though she knows that he's not like actually there. Pick it up and start to go towards the guys again.
Yeah. Only a few minutes pass, and you see Sylra returning with a very familiar-looking dwarven scroll in her hand.
It actually worked.
That's convenient.
It was very handy.
I'm surprised that it worked, but yeah. Didn't have to give up my first child or something, but luckily.
I mean, your family have 8 or 9, so the first one's probably not the worst.
Well, it seems that we can show you sooner than I thought that we would be able to. She kind of gestures at the manuscript in Sylra's hands.
And Sylra will hand it over.
You're handing them the full thing?
Yes.
Just asking. Yeah, you see that Sandra takes it and like rolls it out, and the five of them kind of look it over very carefully. And they begin to mutter this weird, very low frequency, heavy sounding language. It sounds like large rocks rubbing together. I don't know if any of you speak Primordial, but this would be Terran.
Let me check. Nope.
Oh.
So they pour over this for a good 10, 15 minutes, this low rumbling, sort of a constant between the five of them. And you see Sandrock's shoulders kind of go down a little bit. This seems dangerous.
I was worried that they might think so.
Yep.
Dangerous to make or dangerous to even have?
Ooh, to make not so bad. Our forge masters are the best. But to put into outsider hands, this would potentially accomplish what we do here, but without proper veneration, without honor given to Orindar, without the
Respect.
safety nets put on the mineral. The magical output could be magnified even 100 times, maybe 1,000. And that could kill everyone.
Is there a way to lessen the impact and still do what it needs to do?
Well, not by the piece that you have asked us to make.
You should know that there are many people out there who are hoping to make this.
Who is it that wrote this?
Trying to decide if Ren's gonna say. Trevor was saying it pretty willy-nilly. The dwarves in what was the dwarven?
Aurelia?
Yeah. Okay. The dwarves in Aurelia. They seem to have done this first, and others want to do that as well.
I see. The dwarves come from the west, and they dig a hole in the High Father. They have gathered very much of Orindar's gift.
Without proper veneration.
Yes. But they are a warrior people with walls of stone and steel. And even the 5 clans would not be enough to storm their walls. There is nothing we can do to stop them, but perhaps it would be best to stop any further. There's another, sudden input of others once again in Terran, and it's impossible for you to make it out.
Can I be watching for any facial expressions that might indicate the emotions they're going through while they're
Yeah, give me an insight
talking?
check. You see that Shaela is mostly looking very concerned. something is very obviously bothering her about all of this. While the one on the far right, whose name you haven't been given, who seems a little more hot-headed, to hit the nail on the head, unfortunately, is he's looking more angered and I guess the term might be he looks ready to take action. But as they continue to argue back and forth between the five, Sandrock once again reverts to common tongue and says, "So if they have it, then perhaps the others should too, so that they are not overrun. This is potentially very dangerous, and should Orindar become angered by whoever uses it, they may be wiped from Cadence."
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever consider having an outsider come learn from you so that it was properly looked after and created and respected?
Train an outsider as an earth caller. It has never been done before. But times are changing, and you have granted us access to Orindar. Perhaps this is the way forward.
If it helps at all, we've been told that we are now known as the champions of Orindar, so maybe Brielle isn't so much an outsider as you might think.
Oh, me? I was thinking my dad, but I guess I could.
We shall deliberate on this. We must first be brought to Orindar, and then we will forge this inner crucible.
Great.
I'm sorry for putting you in such a tenuous position. We don't really fully know the extent of whatever this contraption is or does. We've kind of just been the ones doing the traveling and the work to make this work, really.
It is difficult for us to accept so much change, but it is time, I think, for things to change a little bit. Perhaps the true purpose of Orindar's gift will be realized soon.
Well, we appreciate all the help and the willingness to change. All of this sounds very much like work, however.
For us, it is time of deliberation, which means decisions must be made. We do not get to celebrate this evening.
Shanks, we were told that we need to accompany them to the Myconids, correct?
Yes, because they, both sides have basically alluded to the fact that they need to actually have a negotiation about what is and isn't permitted, and the only way they can do that is if Wren is present.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there's anything else that you need of us, we are here until we have to bring you into the mountain further.
I will have some of my men prepare the way. And each of them kind of stands up from their seats, and each of them very slightly nods their head, and it seems clear that it's time for you to leave.
I can take a cue. Get on out of there.
Well, you guys head back out towards the rest of the crowd where there is the typical Earth Genasi celebration going on. You also are now aware of the sort of guest home you're allowed to bunk in if you choose to. What would you like to do?
Well, you said it. We are tired, so Wren is going to go to sleep.
Brielle's gonna pick up a few stones here and there and then put them in her backpack.
All right.
Until, because we have one more day here, like one more night that we'll stay over.
One more day and night, yeah.
Okay. Okay, she'll do the thing next night.
Okay.
She's sleepy. But she's gonna sleep by Wren, not Rhowan. Just really lay that down.
Sure. Anything else being done by anyone?
At some point, since I only need 4 hours, I'm gonna spend some time attuning to that fancy stick that I found.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Finally, someone is learning what one of these magic items are. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, you spend about an hour attuning to this staff that you know to be called the Spore Caller's Crook. And I'm going to share that. I don't know if that pops up for you when I share that.
It does.
Neat. So you can see it and you can read it, but for everyone else, this is a very rare magic staff. It is a +1 bonus, and it also provides you with a +1 to your spellcasting modifier and spellcasting DC. Also, once per short rest, you can... Wait, did that part not translate through? The +1 to everything?
Oh, no, I see it. I see it there.
You do see it? Okay.
Let's see. Did it apply to my saving throw, though? Am I attuned to it yet? Let's find out. It's not
it
in
doesn't,
my
you can just...
inventory.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't drag it onto your sheet yet. On your sheet. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, so this is, as I said, it adds a +1 to your spellcasting DC and your spell attack rolls. And also, once per short rest, you can make a plume of spores come out of it in a 15-foot radius from you, and every creature within that zone must make a wisdom save against your spell save DC, or they fall unconscious for 10 minutes or until someone wakes them up.
Nice.
So,
That's pretty sick.
It's so good.
it's pretty cool. We're making sleep relevant again.
Only in a fantasy game, not in real life.
No.
Drink too
Getting
much
along
coffee?
rest
Use
is
it on
not
yourself.
happening.
Did Sylra look at the sword and the necklace that one time?
Not yet, because Shanks hadn't figured out what they were the last time, so I don't know if he has yet.
I do. I have them.
Okay,
however,
'cause she
do
would-
you have Identify?
Only can't you attune to them?
You can
She
just attune
could.
them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But are they cursed? Is
He
the
We'll
has,
find out
like-
when you attune to them.
Detect magic. So
You could
would
tell that they
help?
are magic.
Oh, right. Which I
Yeah.
already did.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I don't think we have an identifier in the group.
Hi, I can.
You
We don't
can,
know
Yeah, but
right?
you're going to be asleep, so.
I'm asleep.
So does Brielle know that?
Brielle, I don't. I mean, she knows that like Favros has given her power now.
She picks it up and just gets like an information
sorry, yeah.
surge.
But no, she's asleep. She's tired.
Well,
One day I'll look at them.
she's going to attempt to at least attune to the necklace and see what happens. And if anything happens, that's bad.
We'll deal
We'll
with it in the
figure it
morning.
out.
I'm so tempted to make it awful now, but wait, where is it? There it is. All right, then I will share this record with you also. So this is an amulet called the Fang of the Sky Hunter,
Neat.
and
Ooh.
you gain advantage on wisdom survival checks made to track dragons, wyverns, and other draconic creatures. You have advantage on saving throws against poison and resistance to poison damage.
Nice.
And once per day, when reduced to 0 HP but not outright killed, the wearer can drop to 1 HP instead.
That's
Well, that
handy.
would help.
It didn't help whoever was wearing that in the wyvern nest.
That is true.
It helped them find the wyvern.
They could have just been outright killed, not reduced to 0.
Yeah.
So
There was also multiple wyverns. There may have been more at one point. You don't even know.
Yeah.
that's true. That is true. So yeah, she's going to wear that and then take out the sword and get that ready for Brielle to look at.
All right.
Because she's like, okay, I was lucky once. I don't know if I'm going to be lucky twice.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else happening before this long rest?
I think Wren is, for once, not forgetting that we have eggs on us. She's going to like wrap it up, kind of like swaddle the egg. She doesn't know if it needs heat or anything, or like how to take care of an egg really, but that seems the most logical to her.
Okay.
So she does that before she goes to bed and kind of has it like next to her.
Totally fair. Anyone else? Anything? No? Okay. Then you guys have a successful long rest here. Despite the loud ongoings nearby, the exhaustion of having been walking and fighting all day and night has left you pretty worn out. And rest comes fairly easily. And you wake up in the morning to the sounds of large stone horns being blown to summon everyone for the coming of the morning competition.
I'm up. Let's go.
So I'll have you guys kind of think on if there's anything, because this is essentially becoming a day of downtime. You're here amongst the Genasi. If there's anything you want to do while you're here among them, knowing full well that like they're kind of focused in on this celebration. So it's not like they have shops open and things of that nature going on. But if there's anything you'd like to accomplish in this day, then we'll discuss that. But for now, I think we'll head off to break, since it seems like a good point to do so. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back. So you guys have gotten your rest for the evening, and you find yourself awoken to the sound of horns, and the Earth Genasi competition continues on. What would you like to do?
What are the Genasi doing for the competition right now? Like, is it just more swinging around weapons? Is it deliberating or talking about great points about what weapon I used?
So a little bit of both, actually. So you're seeing once again that there is it actually opens up on a much more objective form of measurement. They're literally checking the exact balance points and how much tension can be applied to them, and the blades being tested after being used on stone over and over again, that sort of thing. and so they're really kind of honing in on the details of it. But after like each thing, you can see that the 5 leaders sort of take a minute to discuss this. Of course, the problem is that the deliberation is happening in Terran, and everyone around you is kind of like nodding, like they understand. And, to you,
I am nodding as well, pretending like I understand. But Brielle's probably got her notebook out, and she's at least taking notes of things that she's noticed, like maybe like they've put things an inch lower on the like pole of it or something, or anything she can do to give information to her parents about how to better craft weapons.
Yeah, make me some sort of check. This one's always hard for me because I'm like, what are you
perception, I guess, because she's just looking sort of thing to see how they've made them.
You give me perception and I'll give you advantage because of your proficiency with smithing tools.
Okay, out in the open?
Yeah. Ooh, that advantage did help you a lot.
Yeah, a lot. It's early morning.
Yeah. A lot of these designs are so different than what you're used to that you're kind of like getting more initial ideas rather than specific like criticisms on what you could do better. Because
sketch ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And these are very artistic weapons that haven't lost any of their functionality, which is sort of the thing that sticks out to you. You can see that for example, one of the glaives has sort of this filament of silver that extends beyond like the circumference of the shaft, and it sort of runs down in this really intricate design, almost like roots running down it. But you can see that at very certain points, they either converge altogether into making it more of a round shape to hold on to, or they completely like meld into the shaft, making sure that the handholds that someone would most likely be using aren't inhibited by the design. And so the design's woven right through it, and yet accommodating the wielder is clearly something that's on their mind. And as you look at the 5 different weapons, it's sort of, you see that theme of the art and the ability of the weapon and everything is overt, and yet it very subtly sort of still accommodates what it would be primarily used for. So, you got ideas kind of percolating in the back.
Yeah, she's starry-eyed.
What's everyone else doing first thing in the morning?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wren kind of swaddles her egg onto her back again, and she's just kind of gonna go wander around. And I think she's mostly just like people watching, kind of trying to take in anything that she notes of how the Genasi interact with each other. I don't think she really stops to watch the competition today. More of the like exciting elements are what was pulling her in at first. So if they're just like mostly deliberating and speaking and stuff like that, and she doesn't know much about crafting weapons like Brielle does, so she's not taking in any of the designs or anything like that. So right now I think she's not standing to watch that, but she is just kind of going around any available parts of the like colony or village or whatever, however they refer to it. At some point today, she does want to talk to the group as a whole, but since they all wake up at random different staggered times, she'll wait.
All right. Sylra, Rhowan?
Well, I before I take the advice of that wizard, I would like to spend a little bit of time with that Duragar stone slab that I've been lugging around and try to see if there's anything I can learn about how it works to better counter it, understand what sort of magic they're doing down there, or anything, basically anything I can get before probably taking his advice and dispelling it.
Why don't you give me... Actually, I'm going to ask for both in a rare occasion. I would like an Arcana check and a Religion check.
I need to see if the stars are going to help me or hurt my enemies today. Let's see. That's cop. They're going to help me. Cool. There's my other dice. All right. So you said Arcana and what? Sorry?
Religion.
Okay. I will start tower or...
Let's do them out front. Let's,
cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a Cosmic Omen on that, making it a 14.
Okay.
And mark one of those off. And then Religion. A little bit better at that.
Okay. So you start examining this tablet, and I mean, again, first of all, you get this sort of sense of like, this is disgusting magic. This is awful, whatever it is. But you're trying to delve into it and really understand what it does. Its exact functionality escapes you. It is quite complex, and so like you get that the idea that this is probably like a 3-year project from a capable artificer. You know, like this is nothing easy to create. But as you look it over, you notice that there is sort of a theme. It sort of amplifies pain. Pain seems to be the central fuel for whatever this magic is. It is both an input and an output, but at the same time, there seems to be 3 separate streams off which the pain moves towards. And beyond that, it's a little bit of a mystery to you. However, as you're trying to examine what these outputs might be, where this pain might be going, what purpose it might serve, you do notice that sort of buried deep in the runic language is a code. And as you start to pore over that, you realize that this isn't a terrestrial destination. This is a celestial destination. And as you look it over, you find that this is a dedication to Gidriath, the god of decay, death, and suffering.
That motherfucker.
Who it's worth noting when Orindar mentioned yesterday that death was brought, you know that he's referring to Gidriath.
Oh, I have noted that.
Got it.
And then I will, in fact, attempt to dispel it once I'm done with it.
Yeah, that's going to be another Arcana check, and the DC is going to be 16.
Cool.
So we really want to get rid of the Black Queen.
Yeah. I'll use my advantage.
Yep, absolutely.
It's not any better. It is better, but not much better.
But it's not enough, yeah.
I've got more spell slots. I'll keep Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Make as many Arcana checks as you're willing to burn spell slots to do this.
That many.
That'll get you there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Strong. There we go.
Yeah, you, as soon as you actually hit it with a dispel that works, you see the whole tablet crumbles into black ash, and this sort of puff of smoke with a sort of static charge running through it takes the shape of a bottomless skull that is supported by a vine. And briefly, that sort of hovers in the air. You get this sense of being seen, and it vanishes.
As soon as I do that, I'm going to cast protection from evil and good on myself the moment that skull starts to form.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do that without fail. Yeah. No other magical effect seems to come, but you very much get the sense that something looked at you in that moment.
Picturing it as just good chives going around you.
Well, we'll have to talk about that at some point.
So Sylra was probably like standing off while you're doing this, like close by but not close enough because she doesn't want to be involved.
I mean, if Sylra was around, I'd invite her to watch this sort of thing.
She would be like piqued and interested, but like cautious about what it was.
Did you see that skull?
Yeah.
It looked at me, like it saw me. I don't like that.
Yeah. It gives me not a good vibe.
I don't know. No, bad vibes. The worst.
So, have you decided that you're dispelling it, or what?
Oh yeah, that's what that was.
Okay. Right. I wonder what it was trying to do, looking at you.
I think it was mad.
And that was the Duergar thing from before.
Yeah, that's what we got out of that like horrible contraption with that guy like bonded to it.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, I mean, I guess it's better gone than still around causing problems.
Yeah, we learned a lot. It's feeding some of this energy off to another plane to that god of death, whose name I have trouble pronouncing. We're gonna have to fight them at some point.
It feels like there's a lot of people we're going to have to fight nowadays.
Yeah. Maybe if we like freed the Orindar, you could just bring the mountain down on top of them. That sounds like that'd save us a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, that would be nice. Just, not have to do too much. Just free him. He moves the mountain. Top.
Sounds easy, right? That's just two things. It's just two things.
Just two things. We're probably billing things to get that first thing done. So, I mean, are you interested in seeing any of the stuff that's going on today?
Yeah, I'll take a look around. I'm interested to put some space between me and that thing at the pile of ashes on the ground. Oh, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies. It's sort of like antithetical to everything that I do with my life.
Yeah.
No bad juju in there. I gotta get out of here. I can still smell that.
Considering what I, involve myself in, that, yeah, let's get out of here. Hopefully I'll be swept away or forgotten about.
That'd be good. Yeah, and I guess if you will walk around. See what's
Mhm.
up. Banned.
Well, you carry on with your day. The competition sort of rises and falls with different levels of things happening, and then there seems to be like this break where they all gather on this one long table, impossibly long. It literally, they level everything in one straight column from one end of the cavern to the other, and everyone comes and takes a seat at this table. And as they do, you can see that there's sort of these groups of like the 5 tribes that kind of sit together. And from these groups, there seems to be this understanding that the more exalted you are, you sit in the center of the group, and then gradually you're like less and less important further out. And so like the least important person of this tribe is sitting next to the least important person on that tribe.
Oh, no.
And and like, not that they're it's not like an actual class system. It's just sort of like the venerated heroes versus the people who haven't made a name for themselves yet. So you got a bunch of immature people kind of in the edges of each tribe, kind of elbowing at each other, and kind of fighting for supremacy over the other tribes. But this gathering happens, and as it does, you actually see Fiishura making her way through the crowd and towards you. She says, "You 4, come with me. You eat with me."
Oh, okay.
And as you do that, you find that you actually move to the center of the 5 tribes where Sandrock's clan is. And here at the center, you are sitting in the middle of everything with Fiishura and Sandrock. And at least Rhowan, but probably all of you notice, there's a couple of kind of dirty looks coming your way, being in such an exalted seat as outsiders during the most important celebration of their year. But at the same time, a lot of people who have heard of what's to come are kind of like looking at you a little bit wide-eyed. And as you take a seat, Sandrock kind of makes this announcement of, "These are the outsiders that will bring us to Orindar. We have chosen to lift them up as exalted guests. So raise a glass," and everyone raises one of their earthenware mugs, and you hear sort of a stomp on the floor as each of them stomps one foot and then knocks back a drink. And then he gestures to your seats, and you're able to enjoy a nice sort of hunter-gatherer style lunch of many things that have been, the meat's all like old and salted and cured and stuff. It's not like they're out in the plains right now hunting, so everything is sort of preserved foods, but it serves its purpose, and you're able to get your fill.
It's time to hydrate.
So who's sitting here with us right now then?
So you see, you 4 are directly next to Sandrock and Fiishura, who are sitting across from each other. On the other side of you are 2 of the other women that at least Brielle knows helps Fiishura in the forge. Very much honored forge masters of their own right, though they aren't the forge master. On the other side of those 2 are 4 very strong looking like honor guard type warriors. They're pretty much well decked out in good equipment, and each of them has strapped on their back one of these really magically enhanced weapons that they seem to be making here.
And is everyone just kind of talking amongst themselves? Like, what's the...
After the toast was made, everyone just started shoving food in their mouth, more or less.
Okay.
There are some idle conversations happening around you, but
I'm going to... I need to... Okay, I'm gonna make a mental connection with the party as we are eating. And she's going, as she's kind of taking in her food, I don't know how to ask another favor of you guys, considering all of the other tasks that we have on our plate at the moment, but we are up near somewhere that I would like to look into again. I've been told about an item that's possibly in Denmark Pass. And I know that we have some unfriendly people there at present. I'm not strictly asking if we can stop there, but I would hope to at some point, with or without all of you.
How far is Denmark Pass from here-ish, Shanks?
Well, you took a very different, like you didn't go straight from there to here, so it would be a guess on your part, but probably doable within a day's travel to get there.
What are we getting?
Well, that's another part of it. I was told by our friend Nadia that I should not repeat it to anybody.
Well,
How will we know what it is then?
I suppose I could tell you what it is we're looking for without telling you what it is we're looking for.
We're gonna make an intelligence saving throw. All right, no psychic damage for Rhowan.
Okay.
I'm possibly looking for a piece of jewelry that is missing a part to it.
Okay.
Oh. But if we're going back to Denmark Pass, Sylra and I saw some fun stuff today that we need to talk about.
She has a hard time not like reacting outwardly to that. Yeah, like looks at you. Very curious.
I don't know, I don't know. Do you want me to tell you during dinner? This is all telepathic, but remember that stone slab that wizard told me to dispel? Well, I did, and I don't think it liked that very much. That I'll basically just give him the download.
Yeah.
So if we're going back there, extra danger.
Yeah.
I suppose it was already a risk to ask anyway, but also...
Hey, that wasn't a no, by the way.
Yeah. I guess we had already kind of committed ourselves to getting rid of the enemy of our new friend. So if we can take out a few more of those creatures, hopefully we don't run into anything at all.
That'd be great. That sounds perfect.
But if we do, and we take down a few of them, that's a few that we don't have to deal with later.
Yes, this is...
That's true.
It was looking at you.
Yeah, I don't know. Freaked me out, man. Like,
It was
threw me.
freaky even for myself.
Did it say anything?
No.
I feel like I wanted to.
I wish that it did. That'd probably be less weird.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Smelled bad too. Like mothballs.
And Rowan is actually talking about those kind.
Yeah.
All right, well, I suppose that we have another stop to make on the way back. How much time did they say that we had? Like, it's like the next day they're done, the great work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should have talked about this sooner then. All right, well, I don't like any of the things that you just told me, but I don't like any of the things that we're getting ourselves involved with. So it
Yeah,
is
I'm not a
kind of
fan.
exciting.
Well,
At the
yeah,
end of the day, it's better than Vor's Delta.
that's true. That place sucks.
They put up a sign at Denmark Pass. It's better than Borsdale.
Do you think Drindle's gonna get in trouble for what he's doing?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
I kind of wish that I didn't learn as much as I did about what he is doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not that I think he fully understands it either. He has his sights set on what monetary gain he'll get from what he's doing.
Do you think we should stop him?
I don't think we can unless we're willing to get violent. I think he's going to have to learn the hard way. I've met people like him before.
And then there's the other part that Orindar had said, where they may be left defenseless and kind should the dwarves decide that they want more of Cadence.
Mm-hmm.
That was in a conversation with Sandrock, for the record.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he's going to figure it out some way or another, and if we can stop him from trying to come down here, that's probably the best result.
Yeah, I just want to make sure these people are okay. I like them.
I think with their being able to actually be in Orindar's presence, and if they can befriend the Myconid or the Orvoss, we won't have to worry about their safety, I don't think. It's everything around us that I'm a little concerned about, because I had hoped that one day I would have some sort of life here in Cadence, and now it seems that might be a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
You'll get a life here some point.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen.
Just gotta save it first, I suppose.
Yes.
I'm getting swallowed up by a giant serpent.
Was not on my list ever. She says, stealing Rowan's phrase.
Do you all think that we could really pull this off?
Yeah.
Honestly? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like we have any other choice then to be successful.
Well, we could die. That's another choice, but that's the one we don't want.
Well, I mean, that's not choosing. That's
yeah.
just happening.
I guess.
We have almost done
Constantly.
that many times.
Multiple times, yes.
But we didn't.
That's
We
fair.
didn't.
I would feel better if I had more diamonds, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you need jewels for casting spells? Is that how that works?
Yeah, well, some spells. Because diamonds are reactive with the soul, and you can use them to kind of get it to go back.
Is that
in
like
your
a
body.
cleric thing?
Yeah. Well, no, yes. Sometimes. For me, it's not.
Well, like, we have the sword that we need to sort of figure out what it is. And if no one can use it or wants to use it, we could sell it. And that would give us
Oh, yeah.
money to be able to
Diamonds.
buy more diamonds somewhere.
But
Or we could look for
Brielle, you know how to
diamonds.
use a sword, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you hold the sword handle like this, right? And then like you like two hand, or like sometimes if you have like a glove or something, you can also hold it by the blade itself if you need to, and
Oh,
she's gonna like try and
interesting.
explain to you how to use a sword.
Well,
See, I just use the stick. There's no, well, maybe splinters, but it's not really sharp. You can kind of hold it anywhere.
Yeah, I like my stick.
what kind of sword is it, Shanks? Is it
It is a rapier.
Oh, she's not holding it like that then. She just looks like an idiot beside all these blacksmiths. Trying to tell you how to use a rapier.
By the time you had started describing how you use it, I'm like, it's too late. It's fine.
Just let her do it. Just let her go.
It's two-handed greatsword now.
No, she'll just explain to you how a rapier works then, I guess.
That doesn't really seem like your style.
It's not. It's way too dainty. I don't like that.
But I mean, it is magical. So if we could figure that out, we might be able to figure out a cost for it. Unless, Wren, do you know how to use a sword?
I do. I haven't really had much use for one. But I mean, so it's magical, and she's just going to like hold out her hand to Sylra. Would I be able to see it?
You're just pulling swords out at the dinner table.
She'll just
I'd be
pull it
there in the
out.
middle of like a blacksmith area.
So you're like all like silently eating and staring at each other, and then all of a sudden Thor pulls this sword out of a bag, much too small to contain it.
Is it rude to put weapons on the
Normal.
table?
What's that, David?
Is it rude to put weapons on the table? I know you're supposed to not put your elbows.
You don't really know their customs.
I don't know what the etiquette is on that.
But as you pull this sword out of the bag, you notice that Fiishura kind of side eyes it, and then very quickly like, "That is a nice blade."
Do you know anything about it?
Well, no, I've never seen it before.
She's holding out her hand.
Yes.
I think Wren was like going like this, and then she goes like this so that Sylra can hand it to her instead.
The expert.
She takes it and like eyes it down. She literally grabs it, the hilt and blade, and just bends a little bit.
See, guys, you can't hold the blade.
It is light and strong, fast. It will not break. Very good weapon. But I do not know it. And she hands it back to Sylra.
She's just gonna sort of sit here. It's like, does someone want to take it to figure out the sword?
Oh,
Now, later, I could put it back.
I'll take a look at it later tonight.
Okay, she's gonna hand it over and just sort of sigh like, oh, finally.
I thought it doesn't weigh anything in your bag.
No, it's just this wanting to know about it has been sitting on my mind for a while.
I can tell you anything you want about any weapon, really. If you want to sit around, I have all night. Axes, battle axes, swords, knives. What do you want to know?
Magical properties, like what type of sword it is?
Oh, that's not me, sorry.
You would be the only one with this spell.
I need a pearl. I can't cast it without a pearl.
In a wild
That's
shape
why I
into
was
an
asking
oyster
about how
and
jewels
spit
work
one
to
out.
cast items.
And I just sold my pearl.
You did.
4 diamonds.
Yeah,
You
that's
sold
for
it for
diamond.
diamonds.
I have something worth 20 gold.
We'll get a pearl, don't worry. Just not right now.
And Nadia, I need that pearl back.
Does Brielle know she needs a pearl?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No,
Good.
I figure when she has that talk with Rhowan about how to be a cleric, like how he is, then maybe she'll learn more.
Fair enough. Because there's been a lot of psychic conversation about minerals you need here in this mountain, but no one said anything out loud. So I'm just...
One typically does not find pearls under the mountain. Typically.
At some point, I think Brielle will openly talk and not just be sitting in silence for too long, and just trying to get more information from Fiishura and the other 2 blacksmiths about like the properties of mithril and the properties of like all that kind of thing. If there's certain aspects to each mineral that make it have a benefit over others.
Yeah, well, they kind of, this is exactly the kind of thing they want to discuss. So they kind of really get into it with you and talk about how any metal can be pretty strong on its own if you know exactly how to work with it and how to refine it. But when you mix metals, you can mix properties, and certain ones take well to certain properties and the other ones don't carry them as well through to other alloys, things like that. And so they kind of get into the whole heart of what the greatest work is about. And it's really about finding the best way to honor all of the minerals that Orindar has given them. And of course, that includes Orindar's gift, the Verglass, which they also go into describing how if you know how to work it, you know how to venerate Orindar properly, then you can actually infuse that mineral into any alloy that you make. And that's something that they've been doing for a long time now. So yeah, they kind of go into a lot of things. And one thing that Fiishura is not as concerned about revealing now that they're in the final stages of the competition is exactly how Tennisser, despite being made from bronze instead of steel, actually carries through the properties of the Verglass and the mithril better than steel does. Steel kind of overwrites them with what steel does. But when you use bronze instead, what it does is it acts as a conduit for everything.
Brielle will ask their permission if she can write some of this information down, because she doesn't want to take their secrets if without their permission, kind of thing. But she's more so just interested in knowing these aspects, because they did say like they would try and teach people the proper way. Someone's really upset about Brielle asking. No.
You can see that there's some tension there when you want to write it down, and
she would just avoid it then. She wouldn't even try to make them uncomfortable.
Brielle, no, you are one of us now. You may use these secrets, but you must use them from here and not from here. And she taps your book, and you know, you can see that she's concerned about these secrets just being handed off to someone else.
Yeah. Okay. If you trust me to be one of you,
We have heard that you want to learn to call Orindar into your gift, into your works. We can teach you. You and your friends. Your father, you said?
He's really great, I promise. If you like me, you're gonna like him way better.
This would be fine with us. If you bring them here, then they are your family, then they are our family.
Oh,
She like pouts a little and she's just like, I'd like that.
How
Nice
does
to
it
have
feel to
family
be
over
the
here.
first outsider, exalted as you are?
Pretty great.
Do you know why we have the central table?
Because you're the most important?
Because my works are the best works.
Well, yeah.
For 5 years, I create the best. And I see in you that same aspiration. Perhaps one day you sit here on your own merit.
Gosh, I don't know that. But I'd like to sit beside you.
It is good to have you beside me. But unless you're going to introduce us to another god next year, I don't see that you will.
Okay, that's fair. I'll see what I can do.
One way or another.
I think at some point, if it seems like Sandrock isn't like immediately engaged in a conversation, Wren's going to turn her attention to him and excuse me, do you you guys have been traveling out west a lot, and we've encountered some people who have caused trouble, not only for us, but for some of our friends in the village of Silverbrook. And are you familiar with what the Duergar are doing in the mountains?
Yes.
And do you know of this Black Queen?
Only by reputation.
Has she caused you any harm?
Me personally, no. I am very strong.
I think she just kind of glances at Rhowan, kind of recalling some of the things that he just told them. I think she is very much not a friend to Orindar, and we were told that they have many in numbers. Do you know that to be true at all?
Thousands, maybe 10,000.
That's unfortunate.
What?
They were cast out from the Underdark.
It's quite a feat to be cast out from a place like that.
They were forced out. Greater powers existed. Their king was failing them. He was weak. The Black Queen, she took over. Killed him. Killed any loyal to him. She had a way with weapons. Machines of war. Terrible creations.
Yes, we've seen those.
Her empire has grown. The Upper Dark is hers entirely now. She is unstoppable.
Seems we've gotten a bit lucky then to have only encountered a few at a time.
Yes, the weight of our army would crush all of us.
Well, eventually our travels are going to take us back to Kind, so if you notice them stirring or moving, I would appreciate you telling me next time we meet.
How would I tell you if you are far away?
That's why I said next time we meet.
And if there is no next time?
Well, that'll be a sad day, won't that?
Yes. But Sandrock will not fall so easily.
Well, neither will I.
Good. Then we meet again.
She's going to lift up a tankard of that awful stuff that they're drinking to him and kind of do the tap thing that they do. And yeah.
Give me a Constitution save, please.
Oh boy.
They bring out the really good stuff for the celebrations.
This stuff's like basically turpentine.
I am going to add a d8 to that and expend one of my things.
Yeah, you down it, and for a brief second, you feel it bubbling up your esophagus a little bit, and you just like psychically push it back down.
Stay in there. Yeah, I'm also just gonna see how well she does with this. She tries to like make it seem like it didn't phase her at all.
You see like a nod of approval from Sandrock, then he stomps his foot and downs one as well. But the feast continues on for a little bit longer after that, and then very suddenly, like insanely suddenly, you hear them all get up at once. And
before that happens, I would like to ask a question of the lady that Brielle was speaking with when they're coming.
I also had a question for them too.
Oh, sure, absolutely, yeah. Sorry, by all means.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
The two quiet little elves sitting there.
Yeah, I know this might be a long shot up here. I haven't seen any, but I can't think of any finer group of people to ask. Some of the arcana that I work requires certain minerals as channels for the energy. You don't happen to know where I could find any diamonds?
Oh, you're asking Fiishura?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I use diamonds in my work many times. If you can come to my forge before the competition begins again,
okay,
I can give you a diamond for. What do you have that is interesting?
Let me see. I'm gonna have to look at my inventory. Got I got this handful of dust that used to be an arcane stone slab.
That smells rotten. I do not like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I've got some potions that make it so the cold doesn't bother you. I've got I'm yet to meet a disease I can't cure. I don't know if that's useful.
What is she asking for right now?
Something interesting.
Oh.
I can turn into stars. Would that be interesting?
Well, that would be, but how would I make use of that?
I don't know. You didn't say useful. You just said interesting.
Wren is going to dig in her pack and pull out one of those bony plates that were made of bird glass from the Hydra and slide it over in front of Wren.
That's pretty interesting.
Or Rhowan.
We've got this too. This is also interesting.
What's? Oh, are you talking about the same bony plates?
Yeah.
Okay, because they're quite large.
They're like this. This is also interesting.
Yeah, they're like 6 or 7 inches, and then they kind of go around about 2.5 feet in like a U shape.
Dang.
Yeah, like they were literally all along the neck of the Hydra. She looks at that. But that is Orindar's gift. That is... I do not understand.
We were told it was corrupted.
The creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given
Multiple
those
heads.
people that were gonna go take you to meet. It was giving them some trouble. We took care of it for them, and that's how we were able to gain you passage.
This is one of those with the regrowing.
Yeah, bunch of heads, too many heads.
So it is a mutationist creature that is used to adapting, and so if it grew up around Orindar's gift, it infuses it into itself.
Seems like it.
This is interesting and worth experimenting with. Yes, you will come with me after the feast and we will exchange diamonds.
Fabulous.
Sylra, what was the thing you wanted to dive into?
She was basically going to ask about the diamonds too.
Okay.
Now she doesn't have to. She just wanted to make sure that Rhowan had a chance to ask.
Got it.
She
Well.
doesn't want to die.
She has got a chance now with the necklace.
Yeah.
All right. So, a few more minutes go by. The feast comes to an end, and you can see they all stand up very suddenly. Do you follow in suit, or
Yes.
the second that you're all like clear from the table, you hear them all stomp once more, and the tables goes into the ground. They all just kind of immediately start moving on with their day, and Fiishura is just like, "Come!" And she goes running to the forge ahead of everyone else. As she gets there, you can see that she's got several like trunks of stuff around the anvil in the area where she was working, and she opens one up, and it is filled to the brim with valuable gems.
Nice.
That's pretty neat.
We live in and serve the mountain. He gives us many things.
Yeah.
For this that I will work with and hopefully discover new things, I will. And she digs in through these gems and literally pulls out a handful that you reckon would be 2,000 gold worth.
Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure. Yeah, well, you're one, getting into that higher level tier of play, and two, these people, like, I was like, I'm amazed you haven't asked them yet, because they have an abundance of things. If you were like, I'll give you 5 gold for that glass of water, they'd be like, no way, that is insane. This water is way more valuable.
That is just shy of 7 revivifies. Do we want to round it up since it's close, or down since it's not exact?
I mean, yeah, let's round it down for now, because it's not there. What is it that it costs per casting?
300 gold worth of diamonds.
I see. So you're like 100 gold worth of diamonds short.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got a safety net of 7. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find more diamonds.
Oh, 6, but
6. Yeah.
6 NPCs we can save now, guy.
There we go.
Yeah.
While Wren and Sylra bleed out.
Yeah.
Yep.
They'll
Priority.
all be ones I don't want to live. You don't have a choice.
So old, guys. Let me die.
Well,
My bones. Put me out of my misery.
I think I feel a lot better now, and so will my traveling companions, knowing that we have these.
That is good. What do you use them for?
If I this is, I've gotten some weird reactions to this before, so if I get to somebody very shortly after they've died, I can undo that.
You can just give life back.
It's got to be like right after. The soul can't be all the way gone yet. I got like maybe a minute to get to him.
So if I die, then my soul will stay here for only a minute.
Well, it's like a process of transference, and the closer it is, the easier it is. There's planes and stuff. It's kind of complicated.
But then where does it go?
That depends on, you know, if the mortal had devoted its soul to any particular entity in life, you'd usually go see them. I don't know what the afterlife for people devoted to Orindar is like. Just kind of learned about him yesterday, or well, a few days ago when we met you and you told us about him. So I'm
Perhaps
not
I will
really
go
up
into
on
the
that.
mountain.
That could be. That would kind of seem on brand.
I can live with that, but I wouldn't be able to.
Oftentimes, I don't know what the Orindarian afterlife is like, but oftentimes there will be other departed souls of other people devoted to the specific being in attendance. It's kind of like just another kind of life.
And so do you know where you will go?
Probably. Well, that might be a little bit that might be a complicated question. My people can live for an extremely long time if we aren't on the material plane. Some might say forever. If we go, if I were to be afraid of that, I could return to the Feywild where my people came from, and then maybe I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, people do not grow old.
Not while we're there.
I wonder if that would be nice or not.
I don't know. I think the years might be getting to my grandfather. He's a little bit
Yes, I feel the same about mine, but he is maybe not as old.
Yeah, he's a couple thousand.
Like a dragon.
Yeah, in a way.
Does your grandfather like to hoard gold?
No.
Well, he is probably not a dragon then.
No, I don't think so.
It would have been interesting if he was. You are green after all. Maybe you are with a green dragon.
I can do this, and I'm going to go into the starry form of the dragon.
He is a dragon then. Look at you.
As I'm going to glow like this for 10 minutes. That's fine.
You're hearing like gasps and shock around as people are gathering around this area now. You're getting a lot of looks.
That's fine.
Oh,
still got to show her my magic trick.
They may not like if a dragon is in here when we begin.
I turn the lights out. That's fine. I'm not actually a dragon. I can just kind of look like part of one for 10 minutes.
I have heard that dragons can be tricksy.
The one that I met was not. It was very mean.
Oh, that is too bad.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I need to prepare.
Right.
Yeah, she goes about her work. And people kind of gather around. Do you return to the others, or are you just kind of hanging? Yeah, okay. What do the rest of you want to do at this stage? Are you heading towards this to see the end of the competition, or are you doing your own thing?
Is it like happening right now, or do we have like a little time? Okay.
Like they're getting into it anyway. Yeah.
Okay. I would probably, like Brielle would probably go watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Sylra would follow.
So you all kind of reconvene with Rhowan and gather around the Duneborn section of this audience chamber. And as the the Forge Masters come together once again. They're all now holding their own weapons, and you can see that there's like a dozen or so younger people, not as finely dressed. They are working these bellows at the center furnace like you wouldn't believe. Like they are sweating like crazy as they're pumping and pumping and pumping. And as they're doing that, you start to feel this heat on your skin, even from the 60 feet away or so that you are. Like it feels like you're getting a severe sunburn at this point. And they continue to pump it hotter and hotter to the point that each of you feels the necessity to move back. The Earth Genasi don't seem to be as affected by it as you are, but to you, it's like, this is going to start causing me damage. You recall what you want to do with that.
Yeah, I'm going to step back. I don't want to wilt.
Yeah.
My fair skin.
All right. Then as a group, you kind of back up as much as you have to, which almost, like, it pretty much puts you at the other side of the crowd. You find some like area where you can step up on something and see over them. But even there, like once you're no longer sort of covered by the many Genasi in front of you, the heat hitting you is still pretty intense. And you're now like a good 80 feet out. You can see that the actual stone walls of the inside of the furnace, even from here, are starting to reflect light as though they're like turning to glass on the inside. And then all at once, the 5 Forge Masters bring their weapons forward, held at length with long tongs, and place them in the furnace. And then there's like this hushed reverence that kind of goes around the room. All the cheering, all the conversation stop as everyone, like with bated breath, watches and waits. The fires continue to grow hotter and hotter. At one point, it seems like they're so hot that the fire itself is just white, just pure white light. You can actually see places higher up on the furnace where the stonework is actually starting to melt a little bit. And after a few minutes of that, suddenly the bellows stop. And there's this like waiting for the flames to die down, waiting for the fumes coming off these melting stones to stop. You actually see parts where it's dripping down and then solidifying again. And then slowly the Forge Masters approach with their long tongs. They take the weapons out one at a time. And you can see that all except one seem to have held their form. One of them seems to have melted a little bit in the extreme flames. The other 4 are then taken out and quenched harshly in water, which Brielle knows. You typically don't do that, especially with an already hardened weapon, because you'll crack it. You would use oil, and only when you're actually hardening it. Once you've hardened it, you don't do that again, you'll damage it. But they do it in water, harshly. One end, then the other. And you see an explosion of steam happen each time. As the steam clears, you see one of the weapons has completely shattered from the process, but 3 remain. And after that, they are taken to another stage where now someone with big black gloves picks up each one by one and slams it into a similar stone pillar that you saw before. One of them bends on contact and is discarded. And finally, the 2 remaining are then made to do draw cuts on basically like a big long straw mat. Draw cut, draw cut, draw cut. And as that's happening, you're noticing that one of them is getting caught in the straw. Every time pulling the straw out, getting caught in it, the blade has become warped from the intense process it's just been through. But one remains. The long spear that Fiishura crafted remains through all of this. There is sort of this like hushed whisper amongst everyone. And then finally you hear someone call out in Terran angrily. The words you don't quite make out, but you can tell that this is one of the other Forge Masters, and she's yelling at Fiishura angrily. You can feel the rumble. It sounds like a rock slide happening, and as the two continue to yell, there is a stomp from the 5 tribal lords. Everyone goes silent, and the 2 are sent back to their workbenches to prepare for battle. There's all sorts of this hastened whispering. Everyone's getting a little bit worked up, a little panicked, and then all at once, with Fiishura's weapon that is fully intact and the glaive of the other Forge Master that has been hammered back straight as she could, they draw arms. You can see that the glaive is swung, and immediately blades of air come out of the edge of it, slicing towards Fiishura, tearing up the earth. But Fiishura simply taps the head of the spear to the earth in front of her, and all at once, an explosion of rocks comes outward. The blades of air are completely disapparated by the stones flying through the air, and by the time they collide, you know that it's already over. The other Forge Master buried under these rocks. There is sort of one very quick kind of panic, ha, ha, oh. And then there's sort of a somber celebration that happens, but you can tell that the challenge that occurred here was something that was out of the ordinary and something that they're not very happy about. Everyone returns to their stations, and the people kind of murmur and scuttle about, trying to see a better look of what happened. You can see that 2 men come along and pull the Forge Master's body out from the stones, but it's too late. She's dragged off, and the tribal lord that oversaw her, one that has roots sort of growing through his skin, the stone has sort of a green, limey color to it. He steps out, steps in front of Sandrock, takes a knee before him, and steps down, placing his mantle on the floor in front of him, and walks away. Very suddenly, this whole room feels like a funeral, and the cheery attitude that followed all the previous competitions is gone. Even Fiishura, as she walks back to her station, seems grief-stricken. Places the spear on the anvil, and she just leaves it there and walks away. You can see that the crowd begins to disperse, and many of them seem to head towards that center column that runs through the town where the table was earlier. And they proceed to carry this woman's body out towards the exit of the mountain. You are left there with no explanation of this custom or what has happened in full. You're welcome to follow them if you wish, though no one has indicated that you should. But they are largely just not acknowledging you at this stage.
Everybody went? Like all of the Genasi?
Most of the Genasi followed the procession out, but there are still a lot of them that just went in different directions. Most of them are from the Duneborn tribe, the ones that are not following the procession, which Fiishura is.
Okay.
If only someone spoke primordial.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Part of me would feel like I intruded even seeing that, if not for the fact that they were calling Brielle family earlier.
I still feel like I should give them their space, though.
As you stand there trying to figure out what to make of all of it and what to do, you see Sandrock, who is watching the procession move away from him, bows his head briefly, heads back to the forge area, picks up the spear, and you can see he's sort of almost reluctant to pick it up at this point. But he takes it and places his glaive down on the station and walks back to his domain with it.
Do you think death is part of this process?
I got nothing.
I think that there was a challenge for... Well, they had told us that this whole thing was to see who would be the head of all the tribes, and Sandrock's tribe was coming out on top, and perhaps not all agreed with that.
That pretty much matches my assessment.
I don't think it had to happen, but they honored that somebody saw fit to challenge them, regardless of how it'd make them feel afterwards. What time is it now? Shanks, is it?
Well, this was towards the end of the day, after a late lunch. This was supposed to lead into the, sort of, for lack of a better term, crowning ceremony. But it seems that because of the challenge, they no longer do things that way.
All right.
Did Rhowan just wild shape?
What?
I see wild shape. Oh, was that the
dragon
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the starry form from earlier.
All right, well, shall we give them their space until they are their usual selves again?
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to really consider us family now. I bet if we went and talked to Sandrock, he'd give us an explanation.
So what you want to do?
Yeah, and I'll walk over to him.
Is anyone going with him? He did head back to his actual home, the structure that he resides in.
Oh, I see. I thought he was just someplace else. If he went home and I don't see him anymore, I will just hold that thought.
It is literally just outside of the competition.
Oh, okay.
The 5 tribal leader homes are right at the center here.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I'll see if he's willing to talk to me.
Is anyone following Rhowan?
Good question.
Fiishura went to her, she's just around but off to the side, or did she go to her forge?
She left her newest creation on her anvil and left the area until walking out of view.
Yeah. I think Brielle will kind of hang around the anvil area, just seeing if she comes back or anything like that.
All right.
Not expecting her to.
how long do you think Brielle would wait there?
As long as it takes Rhowan to talk to Sandrock.
I don't think I'm going.
Minutes.
You're not going with him to Sandrocks?
No, I think Wren's thought process is that Rowan's really good at talking to people about this sort of thing. So,
Fair enough. Sylra, anything you want to do in this period?
Sylra would reluctantly, but she would follow Rhowan.
Okay. Sylra and Rhowan head over to Sandrock's Manor. You find that the door is just open. In fact, there is no door. It's just an opening into a small sort of hallway. There's a stairwell that goes up to the second level, and there are 2 rooms open to each side, and then down the hallway past the stairs are 2 more rooms. Would you enter or call out, or?
Yeah, if I don't see him, I'll just like, hello?
Yes, come in. And as you step in, the room to the right is sort of a simple room with just seats and a table. Sandrock is sitting there. The new spear is sitting on the table in front of him.
If you don't want to answer this question, that's fine. We were hoping to ask what all that was about.
Yes, I am sorry for how that went. Very few Forge Masters have succeeded 6 years in a row. It is unusual, but Fiishura is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister believes she cheated.
I see.
So it was challenged, and she had to defend herself with a weapon. Apparently, she did not fully grasp the strength of her weapon. This is how dangerous the gift of Orindar can be.
What do I want to say? I think he'll just nod a little bit and it very much deserves the respect you give it.
Is there anything we should do or not do while this period of grieving takes place?
Well, we have some customs. The offended tribe is not allowed to attend the funeral, unfortunately, for Fiishura. It is seen as an act of disrespect that we were challenged, and that means that we cannot honor her death.
I probably a little bit out of line, but I will remind, there was a lot of talk about times changing earlier today. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That is true, but the ways that we rule would be difficult to change without creating more conflict.
That's fair.
But you are outsiders, technically, though you are part of our tribe. Perhaps, if you wish to go, no one would find it offensive. I do not think that you knew her.
Can't say that I did.
We did not.
She was very skilled. Fiishura took her under her wing at a very young age. I expected that one day she would surpass her sister, but that will never be now.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest work has been created, and it is mine to wield. However, with all that has happened, it feels very heavy in my hand. Perhaps next year I can give it away, take on a new weapon.
Perhaps it will ultimately do you. Perhaps this is all the harm that weapon will cause.
I hope so. But loss of one of our own is not easily forgotten.
No. Well, thank you for cluing us in on that anyway. As difficult as the situation is.
It is difficult. We should be celebrating right now. Instead, we mourn. But mourning will pass. And then we exodus. And then celebration once more.
I don't really have anything else to say to him, and I don't think Rowan's very good at ending a conversation. So.
You gotta learn to do the Brielle bye.
Yeah.
Sylra is going to sort of half bow and just, we're sorry for your loss, and we'll leave you.
Thank you.
She's going to turn
Back away.
and leave.
Yep, you head back out, and Brielle, Fiishura has not returned yet.
That's fine. She's just chilling there.
Where's Wren?
If like where Brielle went, that wasn't very far from where we were originally standing. Is that?
Yeah, she's just hanging out there.
Then Wren is nearby.
Group back up.
All right. Well, since we're past 8 o'clock, we'll end on this somber note.